Just when you started to feel good about the Cardinals' offense, they fall flat against Pittsburgh. And one spot in particular is the root of their problems. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffern, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou, and a lifetime Cardinals fan. I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Follow me on Twitter at JD Sports Radio and the podcast at LO_Cardinals. We want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. That way you can interact with us. Hit the notification button so you know when new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode being brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So coming off this road trip, the Cardinals have the Pirates in town for 4 straight games. And normally you think, oh, it's the Pirates. Easy money. This franchise stinks. Triple-digit losses the last 2 years, 100 last season, 101 in 2021. Haven't finished higher than 4th since 2016. But as I talked about with Locked On Pirates host Ethan Smith yesterday, this isn't your same old Pirates to begin this year, at least. They were 7-5. Going into last night's game, they had a 3-game sweep over the Boston Red Sox in Boston. They took 2 of 3 from the White Sox and went 1-2 against the Reds and against the world champion Astros. So not exactly your normal pushover Pirates out of the gate this year. But they also just got shut out by the Astros on Wednesday, which always leaves a bit of a bad aftertaste, right? Nobody likes feeling after a shutout, you don't like it, okay? You just feel yucky. They lost one of their top players, Antonio Cruz, to a bad leg injury in the series against the White Sox. On the mound, the Pirates were throwing Vince Velasquez, who had an ERA close to 10 coming into the game. Plus, they were sitting their best player, outfielder Brian Reynolds, just to give him a day off. A lot of things going in the Cardinals' direction there. The Cardinals, meanwhile, are coming off back-to-back wins in Colorado, where at some point in both of those games, they were actually losing and had to come back. The offense seemed to come back to life. They seemed to be clicking again. They had Jordan Montgomery on the mound. He's coming off that beautiful 7-inning shutout performance against the Brewers. You're back home in front of almost 38,000 of your fans to begin a 7-game homestand. You got what Jordan Walker's doing with the 12-game hitting streak going on, adding some more fun to the game and added excitement, getting some national news on that. All of the momentum here, seemingly in the Cardinals' corner, and somehow, some way, this Cardinals team gets shut out for the second time this season and loses 5-0. And from the get-go, I had a bad feeling about this one. First inning, you get the leadoff double from Brendan Donovan. Awesome. Burleson just misses a home run, drives one to deep left field. That gets caught, moves Donovan over to third base, though. So you got runners on third, 1 out, your 2 best hitters, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado are coming up next. The Pirates bring their infield in because that's how big a deal it is to make sure that the Cardinals don't score in this particular situation. So anything sharply hit or an average fly ball probably scores Donovan. No problem. Should be a piece of cake, right? No. Goldie goes down on strikes, flailing at a slider outside of the zone. 2 outs. Then it's Arenado's chance. Well, it's Nolan Arenado. 2 outs. So what? No big deal, right? Pops out weakly in foul territory to the first baseman. Innings over. They don't even put the ball in play, guys. We don't even get it into fair territory. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. That has to be an automatic run if you're the Cardinals. But instead, it sets the tone for what was overall a miserable night for the team offensively. They managed just 2 more hits off of Velasquez, who somehow, some way ended up turning into a Cy Young performer last night. Over the next 5 innings, just 2 hits against him. They only get 5 more hits total in the game. Meanwhile, Jordan Montgomery looks outstanding, does exactly what you need. He holds the Pirates to 2 runs over 6 innings. He strikes out 5. The Cardinals have to win those games. When they get a starting pitching performance like that, they have to win them because they're going to be coming very few and far between. They just have to. They just have to. They cannot lose these games. This offense is too good, and these guys are too talented to not win those types of ball games. And I've said it before, and I'll keep reiterating it. This team is not supposed to be winning 2-1 ball games. They are not built that way. They are built to win games 5-4, 6-5, 7-6. The offense has to do their job. It has to. If they are a below average offense this season, they are going to be in big trouble. The Cardinals starting pitchers are going to give up runs. Those are the facts. This is not a very good rotation. It's not an awful rotation, which it kind of has been for the most part at the beginning of the season. They're not supposed to be this bad. But they're supposed to be, when you get something like Jordan Montgomery did last night, you're supposed to win. If he's going to hold the opponents to 2 runs over 7 innings, you're supposed to win those ball games. They are a pitch-to-contact pitching staff, but when they don't, and they get a performance like they did, they have to take care of their end of things. The offense does, or they lose. And the one spot that this team continues to fail in is hitting with runners in scoring position. They had guys on base last night, not a ton of traffic, right? 3 walks, 6 hits. But they go 0 for 9 in the opportunities with runners in scoring position. That can't happen. You won't win, ever. I don't care who you're playing if you go 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. And this is the root of their problems, in my opinion, so far in 2023. We can whine and moan about the starting pitching not being up to par to actually win a title, but we knew that coming in. We knew that was going to be an issue. The surprise here is what's happening offensively. The St. Louis Cardinals are hitting .238 with runners in scoring position. Doing that, you're setting yourself up to lose. Unless you have a starting rotation that is going to hold the opponent to 2 runs or less, you're going to lose. That .238 average with runners in scoring position is 25th in Major League Baseball, ahead of, oddly, the Braves, Mets, Tigers, Royals, and Padres. And that's a little weird because the Braves, the Mets, and the Padres are supposed to have some of the best offenses in the league, just like the Cardinals. Apparently, they're struggling too. The Cardinals have struck out 30 times with runners in scoring position, so completely unproductive at bats. You don't even put the ball in play to give the team a chance to make an error or move a runner over, whatever it needs to happen. Instead, you strike out, and nothing happens. That's the 6th highest total in Major League Baseball. Their OPS with runners in scoring position, 641, that's 26th. Slugging at 324, that's 26th. They've knocked in 31 runners while having them in scoring position this year. That's 27th in the league. That's trash. That's trash. I'm sorry. This is the problem right now. Again, we knew the starting pitching was going to be average. I'll jump into the pitching side of this stuff later, but the offense was not supposed to be like this. The offense is supposed to be the greatest asset of this team, and they're just not getting it done in these situations so far this year. It's just not happening. Now, I will give some credit to them because, again, I don't want to just bag on everything. I don't want to be that negative dude, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and the team's frustrated too. Last night and in a few of these previous games, the guys have had a lot of hard contact, and the ball just finds somebody. It just keeps going right to people, and that's just bad luck. Gorman, for example, last night. Perfect example last night. Chance to get back into things with the bases loaded, 2 out in the 8th. He absolutely stings one. And it goes right to the Pirates' first baseman. Just pow, right to him. Some of that stuff, it's bad luck. Okay? Or you're going to see great plays like their center fielder last night. A couple of doozies against the Cardinals. There's nothing you can do about that. You hit the ball hard, you put it in play, and the defense responds and just makes a play on it. It happens. That's baseball. And in the game of baseball, in this sport, these things seem to even themselves out as the season goes on. These hard contact at bats will fall. But just like you and me, I'm sure the team is just as frustrated about it here in the early going. where they're hitting the ball hard and they're just not seeing the results because of it. Let me throw a couple more nerdy stats at you to prove that this team isn't full of it, because it's not effort. It's not that. It's not that they're not trying. It's nothing like that. I know it's easy to say things like that. That's not what's going on here, because they are hitting the ball hard. According to StatCast, the Cardinals have a hard hit percentage of 45.5, which is third in Major League Baseball. They've had 160 balls batted that came off the bat at over 95 miles per hour or more. That's tops in Major League Baseball. Their average exit velocity, 90.5. That's third in Major League Baseball. Odds are if you keep hitting the ball hard like this, eventually it will find holes. But their batting average on balls in play with runners in scoring position so far is just 316. That's 13th in the league. I would assume if you continue to hit the ball as hard as you are and you continue to put it in play, quit striking out with runners in scoring position, that number will go up. That average with runners in scoring position will go up. You just got to keep swinging it. And again, this team is so talented. It will turn around. But right now, as you can tell, I'm frustrated. And I think we all feel this way right now because we expect better out of this baseball team. And so far, we're not getting it. The pitching is an issue we knew we'd have issues with this season. So let's break down some of the problems with them. We'll do that next. And we'll also preview tonight's game here on Locked On Cardinals. Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions, but in actuality, they're spending closer to $200. And if you don't know exactly how much you're spending each month, you need RocketMoney. It's a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions that they have completely forgot about, and chances are you're one of them. RocketMoney will quickly and easily find your subscriptions for you, and for any you don't want to pay anymore, just hit cancel, and RocketMoney will cancel it for you. It's that easy. RocketMoney also helps you manage all your finances in one place and automatically categorizes your expenses so you can easily track your budget in real time and also get alerted if anything looks off. They keep an eye on it for you. They're your backup. They're like your bodyguard when it comes to your money. Over 3 million people have used RocketMoney, saving the average person up to $720 a year. Tax time right now. Wouldn't it be nice to have that extra $720 to go with whatever you're getting back from the government or whatever you owe to the government? So stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/LockedOnMLB. That's rocketmoney.com/LockedOnMLB. rocketmoney.com/LockedOnMLB. Today's episode also brought to you by Gametime. Buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful. They're the fastest and easiest way to buy your tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater that is going on around you that you want to attend. Great deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting excited for the fun that you're about to have at whatever event you're going to go to. You don't have to plan months in advance because Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Like my mom wants to come visit. Hey, we should go to a ball game. Well, yeah, of course. Okay, should we plan this out? Do we have to? Well, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can get tickets right up to the day of the event. Exclusive flash deals, which can be nice too, where you get cheaper tickets for things like football, basketball, of course, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Gametime guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime's going to credit you 110% of the difference. And then the tickets are sent directly to your phone. Nobody wants to fumble around inside their emails trying to find, where did those tickets go? I don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Gametime doesn't make you do it. They send it right to your phone. So snag the tickets without the stress from Gametime. Right now, you can download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Now that I've ripped the offense a new one, but showing you a glimpse into why you should have a little optimism moving forward, let's look at this pitching staff, specifically the starters, because I mentioned earlier, we knew these guys were not going to be elite this year. This is not a surprise. We knew they'd have their struggles. We did not expect it to be this bad. Cardinals starting pitchers have a combined ERA of 5.69, which is way worse than any of us thought it would be after essentially bringing back the same rotation outside of Jose Quintana. Now, Adam Wainwright should be returning soon and should help the situation. But 5.69 is disgustingly high. Last year, the team was 13th in the league, and their starter's ERA was at 3.92. So to jump almost 2 runs is obviously a problem. They've given up 44 runs, which is the 5th most in Major League Baseball. Just talking about the starters here. 11 home runs, that's 7th most. They've allowed 85 hits, which is the most in the league. And with that, it's no surprise the teams are hitting 313 off of them, which is 2nd in the league. The 2nd highest in the league, only behind the Oakland A's, who you might say are fielding more of a AAA team than a Major League team this season. And outside of the walks, Jack Flaherty has not been the problem. Jordan Montgomery has not been the problem. 2 wonderful starts. And the one against Toronto wasn't that bad. But Miles Mikolas, Jake Woodford, and Steven Matz have just been plain awful. And the odd part is that all 3 of them had very strong springs. If you remember, Mikolas, I don't think he pitched great in his couple of spring training games with the Cardinals, but then he goes to the World Baseball Classic. He looked fine. And then Woody and Matz, as we all know, had outstanding spring trainings. Everybody was psyched about what they were going to do this year. Ooh, we got the healthy Steven Matz. Look at Jake Woodford. Beats out Dakota Hudson. How is he not going to be part of the starting 5? Look how good he's doing. And here we are. Mikolas ERA over 10 after 3 starts. Woodford is at 9 after 2 starts. Matz 8.18 after 2 starts. ERAs early in the season, we know they can get bloated. And they can get bloated very, very quickly. So I don't want to just harp on that. But let's look at what else is something that popped out to me. How about the batting average for opponents against these guys? Opponents are hitting 420 off of Miles Mikolas. 420. Insert your 420 joke there if you want to. Opponents are hitting 404 off Steven Matz. And they're hitting 342 off Jake Woodford. I mean, holy crap. That's crazy. And we can say things like, oh, soft contact against these guys. That's why things are falling in. Sure, but they still count. No team can sustain a rotation where 3 out of 5 guys that you're giving the ball to each and every day are giving up production to their opponents like that. No team can do that. Are these numbers sustainable? Is it going to be this bad forever? Of course not. It's going to get better than that. But it's part of the reason why this team is 5-8 right now. I brought up the bullpen a couple of days ago, and yeah, last night you had the 2 dingers off Genesis Cabrera, which sucked because until that point, you saw Henny with some of that swagger that we used to see, that confidence that we used to see out of him a couple years ago. He looked like that guy that we thought was going to be a huge part of this bullpen last year before he imploded. I hope he does not lose his swagger after one game, because after he gave up the home runs and then he punched a guy out and he went to go do his like, woo, I did so good right there. And he stopped because he's like, oh, just to give up 2 home runs. But stay confident in yourself, dude. You saw Jordan Hicks come in and struggle again. And I wish I could tell you what's wrong with him. I have no idea. He's all over the place. He walks the first batter he sees last night on 4 pitches. One of them may have been a strike. The other 3, not even close. Then you get the sac fly, then another walk where a couple of the pitches aren't even close. And because the bullpen was shorthanded last night, because you had to use them so much in Colorado, you got to put them out there. And he just cannot seem to figure it out. He's a liability every time he comes to the mound right now. His stats are gross. Check this out. He's walked 8 batters in 5 1/3 innings, given up 8 hits, and has allowed 6 earned runs. But the 8 walks in 5 1/3, his stuff is so nasty. All you got to do is throw it over the plate. And if they hit you, they hit you. But you can't walk these guys like that. It's maddening, dude. He's 26. He throws 103 miles per hour, but he can't throw strikes. So what good is he? And no, I'm not DFAing him. People were writing me like, I'm not DFAing Jordan Hicks. I just don't know what to do to fix him. I don't know if you fake an injury, put him on the IL and work with him, say he's got arm fatigue or so. I don't know what you do. But watching him go out there and still try to figure it out while costing the Cardinals ball games, it's not a great idea. All right, we're going to get into a preview of tonight's game next on Locked On Cardinals. I'm all worked up today. You see what this team does to me? If you love baseball and you love video games and you want to combine the two, Pro Baseball GM combines your dream of being a major league general manager, and it gives you the fun and enjoyment of a video game style. At one point or another, you thought you could rebuild this team better than Mo. You would have brought in some better starting pitching than this, wouldn't you? I know you would have. Well, you can be in charge of all sorts of things in this one. Man, you got to hire the right coaches. You got to do the staff, the finances. You got to scout. You got to draft. You got to manage personalities, ups and downs of a season. You got to roll through free agency. Like, you do all of it. All of the little things that make running a baseball team fun or stressful is what you got to take care of in this. But that's why it's fun. You know, it's not just some where you push a button and you hit the ball, and that's all it is. No, you get to do all the other stuff. Challenging and realistic game world. It's completely free. You can play it offline. That way you can play on the go as you want, when you want. It's pretty awesome. It really is. If you like the intricacies of Major League Baseball and running a GM, I use it all the time. So the wife will go to sleep. I'll jump on and start tinkering with it. Or say she's got a doctor's appointment. She had to get checked for COVID again the other day. Sitting there in the waiting room while she's off doing that. I'm playing ProBaseballGM.com. I'm going to do that. And it's a lot of fun. And I think you should try it out. Locked On Cardinals listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when you use the promo code Locked On in the game store. So make sure to check it out. Download the game. Just visit ProBaseballGM.com. You can scan the code below if you're watching on YouTube, or look it up on the app stores. That's ProBaseballGM.com. Ultimate Baseball GM. Start your dynasty today. Will the spring training Jake Woodford please stand up? Please. Where is he? We would like him to pitch tonight instead of regular season Jake Woodford, if you don't mind. One of them is going to show up on the mound tonight at Busch Stadium and is set to get the ball this evening against former Cardinals right-hander Johan Oviedo for the Pirates. If you remember, Oviedo was part of the deal that got Jose Quintana to St. Louis at the trade deadline last year. Now, here's what we know about Oviedo. Here's what I know about Oviedo. He can get a bit wild. If you've seen him in the Cardinal uniform before, you'll remember. Outstanding stuff. Couldn't throw strikes. Would completely lose the strike zone. Very Jordan Hicks-like. Not to the level of Jordan Hicks' nastiness as far as his pitches go. He's not throwing 103 or anything, but he's upper 90s. And he would get wild, and that would be his downfall. So I know the guys are going to be eager to hit the ball tonight after getting shut out last night. It's understandable. But in my opinion, the game plan tonight should be do not get too over-aggressive and start chasing stuff by Johan Oviedo tonight. Do not. Against Boston in his first outing, gave up 5 runs, 6 hits, 4 2/3, 3 home runs, and walked 4 guys. That's the Oviedo I remember. His next outing, he dominates the White Sox. 6 2/3 shutout innings, walks none, he strikes out 5. I wonder if the White Sox were being a little impatient up there at the plate, because I've never seen Johan Oviedo go through a game, at least a game that I can remember, where he didn't start walking dudes at some point. He loses track of the strike zone. We know this. Let him do it. If I'm the Cardinals, I'm staying as patient as possible. I'm making him throw strikes early before I even take the bat off my shoulder. And if his command is bad, you let him put himself in a bad spot. Let him load the bases up and walk people around. Don't worry about it. And then when he throws a meatball in there, you unleash the fury. Now, if his command is good early, then you adjust. If he's throwing strikes, then you adjust, and you got to be better. You got to swing at good pitches, not bad ones, and don't chase his slider that goes outside of the zone. That should be the game plan tonight. That's my game plan. We'll see if it works out for him. First pitch tonight scheduled for 7:15 St. Louis time from Busch. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen. Now for your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Matt and Dom take care of you every day with the best fantasy baseball knowledge possible. You can find them wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. If you haven't already, please give us a follow at Twitter, LO_Cardinals, and at JD Sports Radio. Like and subscribe on YouTube. help the channel grow. We have surpassed the 5,000 subscriber mark, which great. I appreciate you guys. I know it's been frustrating early with this team. I know it has been. They're better than this. And I think they're going to prove it tonight. You're the best fans in baseball for a reason. I'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals. Let's get a dub.